Silent defiance. The sky above New Sydney burned red with atmospheric entry trails. What had begun as strange radar readings at the edge of the solar system had, within hours, become humanity's darkest day. The Varaxian battle fleet had arrived without warning, without communication, without mercy. Commander Elena Reyes stood in the underground command center beneath the Rocky Mountains, her face illuminated by emergency lighting as screens displayed real-time footage of destruction. Shanghai was gone. London reduced to smoldering ruins. Cairo a blackened crater. The alien vessels hung in low orbit, massive and monolithic, their black hulls absorbing sunlight rather than reflecting it. Casualty estimates. Elena asked, her voice steady despite the chaos. Colonel Zhang looked up from his terminal, his face ashen. Approaching 200 million and climbing. Major metropolitan areas were hit first. They're systematically targeting infrastructure and military installations. A junior officer approached with a tablet. Commander, we've lost contact with the Pacific Fleet. All orbital defense platforms have been neutralized. Elena nodded, absorbing the information without flinching. She had prepared for this day for 15 years, though she had prayed it would never come. Activate Protocol Shadowfall. The command center went silent. Colonel Zhang's eyes widened. Ma'am, are you certain? The president hasn't. The president is presumed dead along with most of the cabinet. Elena interrupted. Chain of command places the decision with me. Activate Protocol Shadowfall. Authorization Reyes Omega 97 Epsilon. Deep beneath the command center, a quantum computer awakened. Throughout the solar system, hidden transmitters embedded in asteroids, buried beneath the lunar surface, and concealed in the clouds of Venus began broadcasting on frequencies unknown to the Varaxians. Elena turned to the holographic display at the center of the room. Show me our assets. The display flickered, then revealed hundreds of green dots appearing throughout the solar system. Spacecraft that had never been acknowledged in any public record. Weapons platforms disguised as communication satellites. An entire fleet that humanity had built in absolute secrecy over decades. How long until they're combat ready? Elena asked. The Artemis battle group is already operational, replied Admiral Cato, appearing on a secure channel from his bunker beneath the Pacific. Ares and Apollo battle groups will be online within 20 minutes. The lunar defense grid is powering up now. Elena watched as the first of humanity's hidden guardians rose from beneath the lunar surface. The UES Defiance, a warship nearly a kilometer in length, its hull composed of materials that absorbed radar and lidar scans. It had been built in sections, assembled in secret beneath the lunar regolith, waiting for the day when humanity would need it most. The Varaxians believe they've crippled us, Elena said. They think we're defenseless. That's our advantage. Admiral Cato nodded grimly. The Defiance is ready for your orders, Commander. Elena studied the positions of the alien vessels. They had spread out, confident in their victory, deploying smaller craft to begin what appeared to be the early stages of an occupation. Their flagship, a massive vessel twice the size of any other, remained in high Earth orbit. Target their support vessels first, Elena ordered. The Varaxians operate on a strict hierarchy. Disrupt their chain of command, create confusion. Then we strike at their heavy cruisers. As the orders were relayed, the UES Defiance moved with surprising speed for its size, accelerating toward Earth on a trajectory that would bring it behind the first cluster of alien support ships. Its weapon systems, powered by fusion reactors that had been perfected in secret laboratories, charged silently. On Earth, survivors huddled in shelters, believing themselves abandoned by hope. In Sydney, a young woman named Maya Lin held her brother close as they watched the alien ships through a crack in the ceiling of their basement shelter. Above them, strange craft descended toward the city center. Are we going to die? Her brother whispered. Before Maya could answer, the sky lit up with a brilliant flash. One of the alien vessels suddenly exploded in silence, followed by another, then another. Maya stared in disbelief as something massive moved through the clouds. A human ship, bigger than anything she had ever seen, its hull marked with the United Earth insignia. Aboard the Varaxian command vessel, High Commander Tyrax watched in disbelief as alerts flooded his command console. Impossible, he hissed through his breathing apparatus. Their planet was defenseless. We destroyed all their military capabilities. High Commander, his second-in-command, reported urgently, "We're detecting multiple energy signatures throughout the system. They appear to be human vessels." "How many?" Tyrax demanded. The officer's compound eyes widened. "Hundreds, and they're deploying from positions we never detected." In the vacuum of space, the battle unfolded with terrifying efficiency. The human vessels moved with precision that belied their size, targeting the Varaxian support ships with weapons that cut through their advanced shielding as if it were paper. Missiles with quantum warheads detonated precisely where the alien vessels were most vulnerable, guided by AI targeting systems that had been trained for this exact scenario. Back in the command center, Alina watched as the first phase of the counterattack progressed better than expected. "The Varaxians are pulling their forces back, trying to regroup," reported Colonel Zhang. "They never expected resistance on this scale." "They study our public broadcasts, our official military," Alina said. "They never knew about Shadowfall." She turned to the communications officer. "Send the message to all surviving military and civilian authorities. It's time everyone knew." Throughout the world, on emergency channels, hidden frequencies, and surviving communication networks, Alina's message reached those who had thought all hope lost. "People of Earth, this is Commander Alina Reyes of the United Earth Defense Force. The alien invaders believed they had broken us. They were wrong. For decades, while we spoke of peace, we prepared for war. Today, that preparation will save humanity. We are not alone, we are not defeated, and we will not surrender. Earth fights back." In orbit, the UES Defiance engaged directly with a Varaxian heavy cruiser. Energy beams lanced between the vessels, shields flaring brilliantly against the blackness of space. The human vessel absorbed tremendous punishment, its advanced armor redistributing the energy of each impact before unleashing its main weapon, a concentrated beam of accelerated particles that tore through the alien vessel from bow to stern. The Artemis battle group, led by the UES Indomitable, emerged from hiding behind Mars, accelerating toward Earth with weapons already charging. The Apollo battle group rose from Jupiter's atmosphere, where it had been concealed within specially designed cloud bases, its vessels smaller but faster than those of the other groups. High Commander Tyrax ordered his fleet to consolidate around the flagship. "Prepare the annihilation cannon," he commanded. "We will not be humiliated by primitives." The massive weapon at the center of the Varaxian flagship began to charge, drawing energy from the vessel's antimatter core. It was designed to crack planets, to render worlds uninhabitable. Tyrax had not intended to use it. The Earth was to be conquered, not destroyed. But his pride would not allow defeat. Alina saw the energy readings from the alien flagship spike dramatically. "They're charging something big," she warned. "All vessels, priority target is the Varaxian flagship. All available firepower." The human fleet converged, hundreds of vessels moving as one, coordinated by quantum-entangled communications that couldn't be jammed or intercepted. From Earth's surface, remaining defense installations fired upward. From orbit, the Defiance and its sister ships unleashed everything they had. The Varaxian flagship's shields held against the initial barrage, the annihilation cannon continuing to charge. Tyrax watched with satisfaction as the weapon reached 90% capacity. Soon, these humans would understand the price of resistance. Alina studied the tactical display, then made her decision. Deploy the Harbinger. Deep beneath the Atlantic Ocean, something awakened. A weapon platform that had been theorized, designed, built, and hidden from the world. Its single purpose: to be humanity's last resort. The ocean bulged, then parted as the platform rose toward the surface. It was not a ship but a massive cannon, built into the seafloor itself, powered by geothermal energy tapped directly from the Earth's core. As it breached the surface, its barrel aligned with the Voraxian flagship. "Harbinger at full power," reported the weapons officer. "Firing solution locked." Elena took a deep breath. Fire. The Harbinger fired a single shot. A concentrated stream of exotic matter that tore through space itself, creating a momentary tunnel through the fabric of reality. No shield could stop it because it bypassed normal space entirely. It struck the Voraxian flagship precisely where its power core was located. For a moment, nothing happened. Then the massive alien vessel began to break apart, not exploding but simply coming undone as the exotic matter reaction spread throughout its structure. The annihilation cannon went dark. The threat ended. The remaining Voraxian vessels, seeing their flagship destroyed and facing overwhelming human forces, began to retreat. Some attempted to jump to faster-than-light travel, only to discover that humanity had deployed interdiction fields throughout the system, another technology kept secret for this very day. As the first day of battle drew to a close, Elena allowed herself a moment of grim satisfaction. The cost had been terribly high, millions dead, cities destroyed, wounds that would take generations to heal. But humanity had survived the first assault. More importantly, they had proven that Earth was not the easy conquest the Voraxians had expected. "Secure all positions," Elena ordered. "Prepare for counter-offensive operations. This isn't over, it's just beginning." Across the solar system, humanity's hidden fleet moved into position. The Voraxians had attacked Earth expecting no meaningful response. Now they would learn what humanity was truly capable of when fighting for survival. In Sydney, Maya Lin stepped outside her shelter for the first time, looking up at a sky where human ships now flew alongside the alien invaders. Despite the destruction around her, she felt something she hadn't expected to feel again: hope. The retribution of Earth had only just begun. Unbreakable resolve. News of Earth's unexpected resistance spread through the galactic communications networks like wildfire. Species that had never heard of humans before suddenly found themselves watching footage of the battle, smuggled out by automated probes that humanity had launched years ago for precisely this purpose. In the Voraxian War Council chamber aboard their secondary command vessel, the inexorable High Commander Tyrax faced his assembled generals. The loss of their flagship had sent shockwaves through the Voraxian Imperium. Never before had a first assault failed. Never before had a designated conquest target revealed such devastating hidden capabilities. "You assured me they were primitive," Tyrax hissed, his voice modulator barely containing his rage. "You claimed their defenses were negligible." War General Kurvak bowed his elongated head. "The intelligence was accurate based on all observable data, High Commander. They concealed their true capabilities with expertise no primitive species should possess." Tyrax slammed his armored fist against the tactical display, shattering its surface. "Then your definition of primitive requires revision. Deploy the second wave. I want their hidden facilities identified and destroyed. No mercy." As the Voraxian reinforcements poured through the jump gates at the edge of the solar system, humanity was already moving to Phase 2 of their defense plan. In lunar orbit, Commander Elena Reyes transferred her flag to the UES Defiance. The massive warship would serve as humanity's mobile command center for the counteroffensive. As she stepped onto the bridge, the crew stood at attention, their faces bearing the determined expression of people who had trained their entire lives for this moment. "Status report," Elena ordered, taking her position at the command station. Captain Malik Adenuga, the Defiance's commanding officer, gestured to the tactical display. "Voraxian reinforcements have arrived at the heliopause. Initial count suggests 3 times the number of their first wave. Our long-range sensors detect what appears to be mining and terraforming equipment among their support vessels." Elena's expression darkened. "They're not just here to conquer. They're planning to strip mine the system. That's consistent with intelligence on their previous conquests," confirmed Intelligence Director Harper, joining them via holographic projection from Europa Base. "The Voraxians consume resources at an extraordinary rate to fuel their expansion. They likely see Earth as just another resource cache. Elena studied the tactical display, where green dots representing Earth's forces were spread throughout the system in defensive formations. They think they know what we're capable of now. They're wrong. She turned to communications. Send the activation signal to the outer guard. Beyond Neptune's orbit, in the scattered debris of the Kuiper Belt, dormant weapon platforms suddenly activated. These were not mere defensive installations, but automated hunter-killers, designed to target and destroy vessels entering the solar system through predictable routes. The first wave of Varaxian reinforcements found themselves under attack from directions they hadn't monitored, by weapons that seemed to materialize from what their sensors had registered as inert rock. Within minutes, a quarter of their forces were destroyed or disabled. On Mars, where the Varaxians had established a forward operating base after the initial attack, Colonel Raza Khan led a strike team of Earth's most elite soldiers. They'd moved through the red dust in exo-armor that rendered them nearly invisible to sensors, approaching the alien installation with methodical precision. "Remember, we need their command codes intact," Raza reminded his team over their secure channel. "Neutralize the command staff, secure the central database, then destroy everything else." The strike team breached the Varaxian perimeter without triggering alarms. Their armor, another secret development, incorporated elements of Varaxian technology that Earth had recovered from scout ships shot down decades ago. The aliens had never realized that their early reconnaissance missions hadn't all returned safely. While Raza's team infiltrated the Martian base, the battle for orbital supremacy intensified. The UES Defiance and 3 sister ships engaged the largest of the new Varaxian warships. Humanity's weapons were more precise, but the aliens held the advantage in raw power. Energy beams lashed between the combatants, creating brief, beautiful auroras, where they superheated the thin atmosphere of space. Aboard the Defiance, damage reports flooded in as the ship absorbed punishing hits from the Varaxian dreadnought. "Hull breach on Deck 7, reported the damage control officer. "Emergency bulkheads holding. Reactor 3 is offline." Captain Adenuga maintained his calm. "Reroute power from secondary systems. Bring us about to heading 270 Mark 15. Present our starboard armor belt." Elena watched as the massive ship responded, turning to expose its most heavily armored section to the enemy fire, while bringing additional weapon batteries to bear. "Fire all starboard batteries. Target their propulsion systems." The Defiance shuddered as it unleashed its arsenal. Railguns accelerated tungsten projectiles to relativistic speeds. Missile batteries launched warheads containing exotic matter payloads. Particle beams lanced out, invisible until they struck the enemy shields, causing them to flare brilliantly. The Varaxian dreadnought's shields collapsed under the concentrated assault. The follow-up barrage tore through its propulsion section, leaving the massive vessel adrift. On the tactical display, similar scenes played out across the system as humanity's forces engaged the invaders with unexpected ferocity. What the Varaxians had failed to understand was that humans had spent centuries fighting each other, perfecting the art of war against equals, while the aliens had grown accustomed to easy conquests of technologically inferior species. Elena received a priority communication from Mars. Colonel Raza's face appeared on the display, his expression triumphant despite the blood on his cheek. "Mission accomplished, Commander. We have their command codes and their strategic database. You won't believe what we found." Hours later, in a secure briefing room aboard the Defiance, Earth's military leadership gathered both in person and via holographic projection. Colonel Raza stood before them, displaying the analysis of the Varaxian database. "The attack on Earth wasn't random," he explained. "We were specifically targeted because long-range scans detected unusual energy signatures from our system. Signatures created by our secret weapons development programs." Director Harper stepped forward. "Ironically, the very defenses we built to protect ourselves attracted their attention." "There's more," Raza continued. "The Varaxians are part of a galactic hierarchy. They serve as conquest forces for a coalition of species known as the Ascendancy. Earth isn't just another target. We're located in a strategically valuable region of space, with access to jump points that connect to multiple galactic arms. Elena processed this information, its implications rapidly becoming clear. So this isn't just about our planet. It's about position. Exactly, Raza confirmed. And with the command codes we've acquired, we can do more than just defend our system. We can access their communication network, their strategic databases. We can learn about potential allies, other species who might have reason to oppose the ascendancy. The room fell silent as everyone considered the implications. What had begun as a desperate defense of Earth could potentially transform into something much larger: humanity's entrance onto the galactic stage. Elena made her decision. Upload the command codes to all fleet vessels. Begin systematic access of their network. I want to know everything about the ascendancy, their strengths, their weaknesses, and especially any species who might be sympathetic to our situation. As her orders were carried out, Elena turned to the tactical display once more. The battle had shifted decidedly in humanity's favor. The surviving Varaxian vessels were retreating to the outer system, regrouping around their remaining command ship, the Inexorable. "They're preparing for a final stand," observed Admiral Cato. "We could press our advantage, finish them now." Elena studied the enemy formation thoughtfully. "No, let them retreat. In fact, I want to ensure one ship escaped to carry our message back to the ascendancy." "What message?" asked Captain Edenuga. Elena's expression was resolute. "That Earth is not conquered, that humanity will not bow, and that if they return, what awaits them will make this battle seem like a mere skirmish." On the Inexorable, High Commander Tyrax received the devastating news. Not only had their forces been repelled, but their secure database had been compromised. The humans now possessed knowledge they were never meant to have. "We have no choice," his war general advised. "We must retreat, regroup, return with the full might of an ascendancy war fleet." Tyrax's pride rebelled at the thought, but logic prevailed. "Prepare for emergency translation. All remaining vessels will cover our retreat." As the Varaxian command ship prepared to flee, Elena ordered a final maneuver. The Defiance and its sister ships allowed the Inexorable to escape through the jump gate, but not before broadcasting a message on all Varaxian frequencies in their own language. "We know who you are now. We know what you serve. Return at your peril. Earth stands ready." The Inexorable vanished into the jump gate, leaving behind the wreckage of the once proud invasion force. For the first time in known history, a Varaxian conquest had failed. In the days that followed, humanity began the painful process of rebuilding. The cost had been terrible. Major cities in ruins, millions dead, ecosystems damaged by the intense energy weapons used in the battle. But amid the destruction, there was unity like never before. Nations that had been rivals now worked together, pooling resources and knowledge for the common defense. 1 month after the initial attack, Commander Elena Reyes stood before the newly formed United Earth Council in the temporary capital of Nairobi. Representatives from every surviving nation had gathered to hear her assessment. "The Varaxians will return," she told them without preamble. "Not in days or weeks, but they will come. Next time, they will bring the full might of the ascendancy. We have perhaps 1 year, possibly 2, to prepare." A council member from Brazil raised her hand. "Can we prevail against such odds?" Elena's response was measured. "Based on the intelligence we've gathered, the ascendancy controls approximately 1/8 of the galaxy. They dominate dozens of species, most of whom serve as slave labor or cannon fodder. But their expansion has created enemies, species who resist, who hide, who fight back where they can." She activated a holographic display showing the galactic map, with potential allies highlighted in green. "We've already made contact with 3 such species using the Varaxian communication network. They're watching us, evaluating whether humanity might become a valuable ally in their shadow war against the ascendancy." The council chamber filled with murmurs of surprise and hope. Furthermore, Elena continued, We've begun reverse engineering Voraxian technology from captured vessels. Their propulsion systems are more advanced than ours, but their weapons technology is actually inferior in several key aspects. They rely on overwhelming force rather than innovation. She straightened, her voice growing stronger. Make no mistake, the next battle will be far more difficult than the first. But humanity has advantages the Voraxians and their masters cannot comprehend. We adapt, we innovate, and most importantly, we fight most fiercely when our backs are against the wall. In orbit above Earth, the combined fleets of humanity continued to grow. New vessels were constructed using knowledge gained from the battle. Defense platforms were rebuilt, stronger than before. The secret was out now. Humanity's hidden strength revealed to friend and foe alike. Aboard the UES Defiance, now repaired and upgraded, Elena stood at the viewport looking down at the blue-green world below. Captain Edenuga joined her, following her gaze. Was it worth it? He asked quietly. All those years of secrecy, the resources diverted, the truth hidden from our own people. Elena considered the question. The alternative was extinction. The Voraxians would have reduced Earth to a mining operation, our people to slaves or worse. She turned to face him. We survived. Now we do more than survive. We prepare to take our place among the stars. On the bridge behind them, a communication officer called out, "Commander, we're receiving a transmission. It's coming through the captured Voraxian relay. Non-human origin, but it's not Voraxian either." Elena and Edenuga returned to the command center as the message was decoded and displayed. It contained no words, only a series of mathematical sequences followed by coordinates, a universal language of sorts. Director Harper analyzed the pattern. "It's an invitation," she announced. "These coordinates lead to a system 30 light-years from Earth. I believe we've been contacted by another resistance force." Elena studied the message, a faint smile crossing her face. "Prepare a response. Let them know humanity accepts their invitation." She turned to Captain Edenuga. "Ready the Defiance for deep space deployment. It's time we introduced ourselves to the galaxy." As Earth rebuilt and prepared, the message of humanity's victory spread across the stars. The species that had fought back. The planet that had refused to fall. The people who had hidden their strength until the moment it mattered most. The Voraxians had attacked Earth expecting no meaningful response. Instead, they had awakened a sleeping giant, and in doing so, perhaps changed the balance of power across the galaxy forever. In the vastness of space, the UES Defiance accelerated toward the coordinates, carrying with it humanity's defiance, determination, and hope for a new future among the stars.